What's up guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the Raxio Axial Series LED fog lights with a DRL fitting all 2012 through 2015 Toyota Tacomas. If you have swapped your headlights to LEDs and you want all of your front end lighting to match, this is going to be a cost-effective and good-looking way to do it. Now the simple styling here will add a very clean look to the fog lights and replace any damaged, worn, or faded factory lights if you need to refresh the look of your current set to freshen up the front end and get some better lighting performance compared to your underwhelming factory bulbs. This set will be super simple yet very sleek with a black housing to give a darkened effect and match incredibly well with other darker lights or accessories, but it's going to have a clear lens on the front to maximize the lighting performance compared to a smoked or tinted option. While the housing is black in the center, this is going to feature a chrome reflector for the LED fog light with a back-facing LED design, and that's going to allow a great light output in a wide and consistent fog beam pattern to help your headlights at night. I think one of the coolest features about this set though is the bright white daytime running lights that you get, so even when you're not using them, you still get a lot of styling out of this set, and the light being on with your running lights will result in being spotted a bit easier, helping out your safety when you're on the road at night. These will have a black powder-coated die-cast aluminum housing in the back, not only being durable, but it's going to be great at dissipating heat to help the LEDs run cool and run efficiently, especially with this finned design. Now the lens will be made of a polycarbonate construction. It is going to be impact resistant, which is especially important with their lower position on the bumper, often being subjected to road debris and kick up, especially if you have drivers in front of you. Now the kit will also be DOT and SAE certified, and it will come with all of the wiring harnesses to make the install straightforward. This kit will come in at about $200, which will make this one of your most affordable choices in the category. And I think what stands out most about that price is the subtle design with the simple construction, yet it has super bright lighting performance compared to other choices that may come with good performance but a more in-depth design or a high-performance off-road option that you may not need for your build. And I think if you're looking for an affordable, well-built, and good-looking replacement for your current set, this is going to be a great pick, and they even have a 3-year limited warranty for some extra peace of mind. Install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. There is a little bit of wiring. It does come with these DRL modules here that do have connectors to be pinned into a plug, and it does come with a couple plugs in the kit. You're also going to get this wiring harness here that also requires some very simple wiring. So I would say it should take you about 2 hours to get the job done. However, at this point we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get these onto your Tacoma at home. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, really all you need is a good Phillips head screwdriver. A good flathead screwdriver or some kind of small pry will help with removing some of the plastic clips. I will say, for the way that I'm going to be wiring this in, I'm going to use 2 of these Bussmann fuse taps. So for that, I've also got a set of wire strippers and crimpers, a flashlight obviously, but really that's all you need. So let's get started. Hey everyone, today we're going to be installing these LED fog lights with daytime running lights on a 2015 Tacoma. So in the instructions that came with your kit, one of the first things it has you do is go ahead and remove your front grille cover. That's mainly for convenience, makes it a lot easier to go ahead and get the wiring harness run down nice and clean. So we'll go ahead and do that. You'll see I'm removing, there's just 2 Phillips head screws on these sides here. Go ahead and put those somewhere you're not going to lose them. And then there's also 2 plastic clips. So there's also 2 plastic clips on either side. You just pop that up. There's like a little plunger. And then once that's up, you can pull the rest of the clip. These are honestly pretty fragile. You'll see the little arms are gonna probably break on you. And the other clip is just in the same position over here. There's 4 little points. Sometimes they'll just pop out and fall to the ground. But there's 4 little points you can see on each clip where you can easily get a very small flathead screwdriver down there. Again, put those somewhere you're not going to lose them. Now what you'll do, once you've got everything removed, you're going to pull these 2 top tabs. You'll see there's 2 kind of long, thin tabs on either end too. Just get those up above. If you reach down inside, I'm going to try to get you a good angle on this. Again, it's a little difficult to see, but down in here, yeah, it's really hard to see. If you look down in there, you might be able to see it. There's a plastic tab just to the right of this black plastic clip. You don't need to remove this clip, or just to the far side of that clip. So here on the passenger side, it's to my left. If you reach down and you push on that, and you pull on the outside, that end of the front grill will just pop loose, and then you can move over and do the same thing on the other side. Again, probably not going to get a great angle on this. You'll see the tab when you're working on here. The other side comes off a lot easier. And with that, your grill is removed. Now we're going to move on to removing the old fog lights. All right, I currently have it jacked up and the wheels taken off because I'm also working on my brakes. But if you look under here, there are 2 Phillips head screws. They're probably going to be pretty rusty. I've loosened mine previously, so they're coming out pretty easily. They might not for you, but you want to get those loosened. Again, put them somewhere you're not going to lose them. And then once you've done that, you just gotta, there's a slide here. You push up on the back end, pull this out. Might have some stuff drip down in your face. Go ahead, push that wheel well up out of the way, and then that will give you access back here. The 2 Phillips head screws holding the fog light housing in place are a smaller bit size. So you're gonna need at least 2 different bits for your Phillips head. But once you get those started, they're actually pretty easy. If you don't have your wheels off, there is a tip. Real quick. So once you're done, you're just gonna pull this out. There's 2 tabs here on the inside, on the, towards the center of the vehicle that this side of it slots into. But once you've got that out, there's a little tab you push on in order to loosen the existing plug. Okay. All right, now your kit should have come with a series of black plastic pieces. You're gonna wanna take a look at which one actually fits your existing wire and match that up so that you wire the module in place. And taking care to make sure it's lined up so that the correct wires are going into each side. And now we'll do the same for the passenger side. Okay, so in order to get this wired up the way that it's supposed to be, I think mine might actually, somebody might have previously tried to install it because this shrink wrap doesn't look like factory. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. It had a little fuse included in there. So we're probably looking at 16 gauge. All right. Go ahead and strip the insulation. The yellow wire as well. fuse taps. You can go ahead and twist your bare wire together just so that it makes a nice connection. It's nice and clean. Go ahead and slide it in. Crimp that down. Give it a couple just for good measure. Make sure it's good and tight. You don't want that connection going anywhere. Part of the reason I'm doing it this way is because I want this to be reversible. Just for good measure, I'm going to put a little bit of electrical tape around this end of that crimp. Alright, here's my other tap. Just gonna repeat the same process. Okay, this end was kind of soldered together, so I don't think that's been tampered with. But go ahead, that's seated in there. Oh shoot, that cut right through. How in the world did that happen? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and just cinch that down like I did with the other side. I'm going to go ahead and put some electrical tape around that just for good measure. Doesn't need a lot. You know, and this connection will be inside the fuse box anyway, so it's not like I'm trying to protect it from the elements. Just give it one more thing to make sure it's going to stay in place. Alright, so with your wire splices ready, let's keep that away from the battery contacts. With your wire splices ready, go ahead and open up your fuse box. On the back here, you're going to have a diagram. So for mine, I'm looking HLP LH0 is going to be this second 10 amp. So in the instructions, it says that the red wire, is getting tied into your low beams. So you're just going to go ahead and go ahead and pull that fuse. Put it in your splice. This is just gonna pop right in there. All right. Okay, so your instructions say that the yellow wire is supposed to connect to what they call key on power, which just means it needs to connect to something that is going to get power anytime the ignition is turned on. On my truck, you might need to take a look at details of your particular vehicle. The AC circuit is always powered on as long as the ignition is on. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that fuse. Go ahead and put it into the tap. Slide that into place. You can feed your wires through some of these bulk wires. There's a few ways you can feed them in. You can cut into the side of the fuse box. Honestly, they're so thin that there shouldn't be any issues with this closing. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Close up my fuse box. Yeah, they just come out the sides. Not really an issue. Okay, now that your wires are spliced into your fuse box, this was the reason it had you remove your grill, so that you could just make sure to run them nice and clean. I'm just gonna make sure they're not getting in the way of anything. I mean, they're insulated, but try to avoid having them come into contact with anything where, you know, you might get a short. But I'm gonna go ahead and run mine down here. Your kit should have also come with a couple of twist ties that'll help you make sure that they are being held in place well. So I'm gonna run them across this frame. Let's make sure. No, that's not gonna reach. I'm going to run them down under here. So you've got two of these plugs. You got one plug here, and then it branches. You can see like that, and then it terminates in another plug. So that plug that branches, that is going to run to your driver's side fog light. So go ahead and run that wire down close to there. When you go ahead and install the fog light housing, you're going to want that close at hand. Go ahead and run the loose wire underneath all of this framing, just behind your bumper, over to your other fog light. So then those are close at hand. And now we're gonna go ahead and put in the new fog light housings. Okay, so now it's time to put in your new fog lights. If you look on these, there's gonna be a little letter over on this side. This one is R. This one is for the driver's side. I figure that stands for right as you are actually looking head on at the vehicle. So what we do, and one quick tip: if you take time to turn your vehicle on, turn the wheels all the way to the side that you're working on. So in this case, towards the driver's side. That'll give you a little more room under here to work. On the inside portion of on the side that's towards the center of your vehicle, there's these two tabs. Those are going to slot into existing tabs. They're on the side. Okay. And then that should go ahead and line up. That should line up your housing with the two spots for the screws that were holding the old housing in place. So you should be able to get one of those started by hand, and then just come in with a screwdriver. Make sure it stays in those tabs, because that's going to help hold this flush against the bumper. Keep that from rattling around. Alright. Time for number 2. You may notice, at least on mine, the tabs with the holes for the screws don't exactly line up, which is a little annoying. But with just a little bit of, if you leave one screw a little bit loose, you should be able to get the second one started. Where they're being should. Alright, and once you get that started, of course it came out of that tab. Again, you want to keep them in those tabs. Go ahead and make sure those are good and tightened down. before you do your final tightening on this, you're basically gonna slide. All those are still a little loose. All these are a little loose. You're basically gonna slide this towards the center of the vehicle, because that's gonna make sure that those two tabs are fully seated. And then you'll finish tightening down these screws. Alright, so, okay. Now, you can see your module. I went ahead and already hooked mine up, but I'll show you guys. You've got this cable coming out of the back of your new light. You'll see there's a little notch here, which lines up with a little tab on your module. You're going to go ahead and just plug that in, then tighten down this little plastic nut. Okay. Now, where you had previously wired up this plastic cap, that is going to go ahead and plug into the existing power supply. Again, you want to make sure at this point that your wires are correct. You've got black on your light going to green on the vehicle, or you've got red on your light going to green on the vehicle, and you've got black on your light going to the white with the black stripe on your vehicle. And now you're going to reach up here where you previously dropped your plug from the wiring harness. I'm going to find that. Let's see. Okay. You're going to go ahead and snap that together. And now it would be a good idea to go ahead and make sure that this module isn't just bouncing around freely. Your kit should have come with a couple of twist ties. We'll point back here on the back side of the trim for my fog light housing. Keep that in and put it around one of these spots where the wires are coming out of the module. Go ahead and cinch that down. And then you'll want to find a spot for a second one. I'm going to put the second one actually around here, around one of the contact points where the around one of the points where the screw actually goes in to hold the housing in place. Obviously these twist ties can sometimes be a little bit annoying. Like I said, it'll be good to make sure you don't have this thing just bouncing around freely under here. Tighten that down, tighten that down, and there. That should hold that in place. Alright, with that, you can go ahead and close up the back here. You can trim that excess twist tie if you want. I am just going to go ahead and close it up. Let's go ahead and put your screw back in place to hold that wheel well cover. And do the other side. Okay, so like we did with the other side, went ahead and turned the wheels all the way to the passenger side so that it would give me a little more room to work with under here. So just gonna move that up out of the way. Okay, so like we did with the other side, went ahead and moved the wheel well, or turned the wheel all the way to the passenger side, just to give myself a little bit more room. So I'm just gonna get a light going in here. All right. And like I showed you on the other side, so there's a letter L here. Okay, I figure that stands for left when you're actually looking straight on at the vehicle. So you go ahead, put those two tabs in there. Should be able to then get your screws started. Can be a little difficult to see up in there. That's one started. Alright. I will admit the tabs on the new headlights don't exactly line up with the slots on my truck, but I managed to make it work. Alright. Now, you're gonna need to find that wire that you ran. Mine fell down on top of my strike plate, but it's pretty easy to reach. So, what you've got here, you're gonna go ahead and get your module. Like on the other side, there's a small notch, there's a small tab. Those two should line up, so you should be able to push that all the way up to the red band there. Go ahead and screw that plastic nut in place. Take the black plastic piece that you wired up earlier. Again, making sure that the polarities line up the way they're supposed to. Get that in place. Alright. And then that wire that you ran across your radiator, go ahead and plug that in. And like we did on the other side, we're going to use a couple of twist ties to hold this in place so it's not just bouncing around. Alright. Obviously you can pick the points that are going to work best for you in order to zip tie this into place. You know, there's not really a great spot on the module itself, but it also doesn't need to be, you know, holding it super tight. You just, like I said, don't want something like this just bouncing around there behind your bumper. Put one there, one there. Okay. Alright, that should hold it reasonably well. You could also use zip ties to you know, run your cable and make sure that's pretty secure. But I like this setup, so let's go ahead and close everything up, and then we are done.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the Raxiom Axial Series LED fog lights with a DRL fitting all 2012 through 2015 Toyota Tacomas, and you can find these right here at extremeterrain.com.